I'm Joan Landis. All right, so we've done the mood charts, right? You've discovered some things about your triggers. You've discovered some things about how you act out. You've discovered some things about all the different emotions that you go through during the day. This is excellent stuff. Now, something that I do with my clients, and I think it's really, really important, is to notice where in your body that you can feel this anxiety, okay? Some people feel it in their head, some people feel it in their neck, some people feel it in their chest, some people feel it in their stomach, some people feel it in their back, some people, it can be joints in your hand, it could be anything. It could be your digestive system, and you typically will have kind of a pattern that means something to you. And so if we can start noticing this and going, oh, you know what? Because sometimes our body will signal things to us through our body, and before we even emotionally understand it or cognitively understand that there's a threat, right? So sometimes you just walk into a strange place and the hair on your neck will, stand up, even before you cognitively get the idea that, whoa, there could be something wrong here. And that's one of those two different tracks that we have in our brains for responding to stimuli. One's a really fast track that goes directly to the amygdala and just activates all your body stuff even before it goes to your brain, your neocortex, because that takes longer. But so sometimes your body will tell you things and give you information before you're even aware that something in your environment or your world or your life or thinking is a little off. And so these are the somatic symptoms or the body symptoms that a lot of times we carry around with us. Sometimes we're hungry. I know that one time I knew a woman, and her mom had died the summer before. And she called me and she said, I don't know why. I just keep eating and eating. It was in the fall. I just keep eating and eating and eating. I don't know why I keep eating and eating. And as we talked a little bit, we discovered that that the hunger was a manifestation of her feeling empty because her mom had passed away. And her mom every fall would start a routine of calling her every day after the kids got off to school. And that woman missed it. She missed that, and she felt so empty and felt that loss. And the way her body was communicating that something was wrong was her body started feeling hungry. Like, can you feel this emptiness, please? And so that's just a perfect way. Sometimes migraine headaches. And now, I'm not saying every physical symptom everybody has is something where, it's an emotional issue and they just haven't noticed yet. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying in all times and all places that is the truth. But sometimes it is true. And in fact, it's true enough that we ought to look at that and at least consider, okay? Yes, we might have an infection, but are we under a lot of stress? Is that why our immune system might be a little low, right? So the whole person, the mind and body connection is very, very important. And so we want to acknowledge what our body may be trying to communicate to us. Sometimes if we don't have words for something, or if we're not even connecting with the emotions, kind of like this woman, she wasn't connecting with grief, was she? And so if there really is something kind of wrong, often the body will take over, that reptilian brain, the body systems, it will try to communicate in that way. Something's wrong. Got to get your attention. You got to look at this. You can't avoid it. I will make it so you can't avoid it. All right. Now, another thing that sometimes with anxiety is that the body will also have reactions that are all kind of packaged together and is what we call, a panic episode or a panic attack. And those often have kind of the same pattern. It's like very often you have difficulty breathing, you can feel your heart thumping like crazy, sometimes you start shaking, sweating, difficulty concentrating, sometimes you have stomach ache, and sometimes you just have this urge to just run, and sometimes you just can't move. right? So that's that flee and freeze, right? And so that panic episode is your body's way of saying, wow, there's something really, really wrong, and you really, really better pay attention and really, really better figure out a way to fix this because this is overwhelming, even on the body level. So I really want you to start noticing when the anxiety kind of starts perking up its little head, where are you feeling it in your body? Okay? Just start noticing it. Just a cognitive appraisal, just a cognitive noticing is very, very useful to get some distance between the reaction and the emotional piece. You know, that you can kind of start separating it out, start teasing it out, and pretty soon we'll start saying what thoughts led to that, right? But for now, we don't want it just to all be one big black sticky ball that makes no sense to you. We want you to start separating, going, oh, that's my body reacting to some kind of emotion that maybe I'm not connecting to. Got it. Okay. Got a little insight there, right? So that piece is very, very important with the panic episodes or the panic attacks. So now what do we do with it? Okay, it gives you a little bit of distance. But the other thing that it can do is it gives you an opportunity to respond differently to those symptoms. Okay? So very often, like, we'll get a stomach ache or a migraine or a neck ache or a backache. And what's our response to that? We'll say, oh, I got a headache. Oh, no. Or, oh, my back is killing me. Or, oh, my stomach, I've just got the worst indigestion in the world, right? That's what we do typically, right? Now, you know from Course 1 that our thoughts and what we tell ourselves are extremely powerful. And another piece that's very important to know is that whatever we set up as the big bad enemy, you know, whatever we gear up for with our sword and our shield, you know, we're gonna fight it. Actually, it kind of makes that obstacle bigger and badder in our mind. Okay. Otherwise, why are we gearing up with all of our everything, right? So another way to deal with this is when your body starts talking to you in that way, okay? That instead of going, oh no, this is terrible, get rid of the headache, you know, not saying that you want to like love it, but what we want you to do is actually say and think these words. Something like, hey, body, you're an awesome body. You do so many great things for me. You help me so much. And I know that you're trying to tell me something. This pain or this discomfort is trying to communicate something. And I really appreciate that you're trying to communicate to me because I haven't been very open to it, have I? And so, body, I want to thank you. I literally want to thank you for giving me this neck ache or this backache or this headache or this upset stomach. I want to thank you because I know you're trying to communicate to me very important things that I haven't quite been able to open myself up to. So basically, you thank your body for making these symptoms, thank your body for trying to communicate, and then you can continue and say, help me understand and be open to whatever you're trying to tell me, right? Help a thought to kind of float in my consciousness about what this is about. I'm open to this. I'm open to understanding what this distress and discomfort is trying to communicate to me. And then do some self-care. Then gently do everything you can to care for yourself, care for your body, care for the symptoms, take care of things. But all the while, you're open to whatever impressions or messages that you might get about what your body is trying to tell you, right? So maybe a backache or shoulder ache, maybe that's saying you are carrying way too heavy burdens. It's too much. Maybe if you've got, tightness in your throat when you have a panic episode, maybe it's saying you don't have a voice. You need to find your voice. Something like that. So just be open to some of these things, start noticing, and be gentle with that self-talk, and be open to whatever the symptoms are trying to communicate to you, okay? And I know this sounds a little bit different. It is. But it can really make a difference in the levels of anxiety that you're going to feel. Because honestly, what happens is that we become anxious about anxiety, right? And it becomes like this, this cycle where we get anxious that we're going to have a panic attack, and that makes us anxious, and that makes us have a panic attack. And it can get a little out of hand. So this is a great way to interrupt that. Have fun with this. Go ahead and write in the forums about what works for you. What are you finding in your body about the anxiety? Oh, one other thought. Okay. I really always tell my clients, and I would tell you too, is don't identify with that anxiety so much as to say my anxiety, okay? And same thing with depression or anger or whatever. Just call it the anxiety, all right? Because my anxiety makes it too much a part of you. And we want to distance you from that emotion. You are not the anxiety, okay? And you have agency and you have empowerment over the anxiety. But first you kind of separate it, right? So don't say my anxiety, my panic attacks, my worries. Say the worries, the anxiety, the panic attacks or panic episodes. I like episodes better because it doesn't sound as hostile as attacks, right? So just be mindful of that too, all right? And so again, get on the forums, talk about any discoveries that you've made, and share it there and get a little support, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.